Did you make the team? Are you on the list? Just like you would come home and your family would eagerly await the outcome of the job interview or the exam or an important deal, your family in the barzakh anticipate what the fate of the souls of the living is. Everyone wants to know who made it. And the categorizations between who is righteous and who is wicked, which gets so blurred in this world, are now crystal clear. So now you find out, did you make it? In the barzakh, you have two primary lists, and then you have multiple degrees and levels that are to those lists. But first you ask, are you on the list itself? The Prophet ﷺ came out to the Sahaba one day and he had two books in his hands. And he said, do you know what these two books are? And the Sahaba said, no, Ya Rasulullah, unless you tell us. He said of the one that was in his right hand, this is a book from the Lord of the worlds containing the names of those who will go to Jannah, as well as the names of their fathers and their tribes. And he said it's complete to the last human being, so there will never be any increase or decrease in their numbers. And he said, as for the one in my left, this is a book from the Lord of the worlds containing the names of all of those who will go to hell, as well as the names of their fathers and their tribes. It's completed to the last man, so there will never be any increase or decrease in their numbers. And the Sahaba are looking at the Prophet ﷺ and they said, Ya Rasulullah, is there any reason to do good matters already decreed? And the Prophet ﷺ said, follow a right course and keep as near to it as you can. For the last deed of one who is going to go to paradise will be a deed appropriate for those who go to paradise, no matter what he may have done before. But the last deed of one who is going to go to hell will be a deed appropriate for those who go to hell, no matter what he may have done. Then the Prophet ﷺ made a gesture with his hands, throwing the books away, and he said, your Lord has decided everything about mankind. A section will be in paradise, and a section will be in the blaze. Fatima bint Abd al-Malik, who was the wife of Umar bin Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah, she said the verse, فَرِيقٌ فِي الْجَنَّةِ وَفَرِيقٌ فِي السَّعِيرِ, a group in paradise and a group in hell, was the most terrifying part of the Quran to Umar. SubhanAllah, he didn't just inherit leadership and greatness from his grandfather. He also inherited this exemplary fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that other people around him couldn't understand. Remember when Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu would go to Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman radiallahu anhu, who had the list of the hypocrites from the Prophet ﷺ, and he would say, Ya Hudayfa, am I on there? So how do you prep for that moment? What can you do to ensure that your last deed causes you to make the cut, or that your last deed is one that Allah loves? Well, make sure that you have good deeds that you never let go of, so much so that you are known specifically to be of those who do that deed. So I want you to think of all of the ahadith where the Prophet ﷺ mentions Allah writing down categories. Where do you fall? You have the angels that are standing at the doors of the masjid on Jum'ah with their roll books, and they're writing down the names of all of those who come to the salah every week until the imam says Salaamu Alaikum, and then they close their books. Are you one of those who consistently walk into the masjid a few minutes late? Or do the angels always record your name at the top? What about the first row of the masjid? Ashab as-Saff al-Awwal, the people of the first row. Are you part of that exclusive group to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever wakes up with 10 ayat at night, lam yuktab min al-ghafin, he will not be written from the heedless. And if he reads 100 ayat, kutiba min al-qanitin, then he's written from the devout. And if he reads 1,000 ayat, then he's written from the muqantarin, those who pile up good deeds. Are you consistent enough in any one of those that it could be your? Or do you maybe see your consistency in a simple act that you do with your family? Like when the Prophet ﷺ said, when a husband those who remember Allah frequently from the men and from the women. Or maybe you're amongst the generous. And Imam Siraj Wahaj, Hafidahullah, has this beautiful example that he always would mention in regards to charity. He'd say, tomorrow the roll books will go out with the names of all of those who gave charity. And I don't want a zero next to my name. And the lists go on and on. Identify yourself in those lists. Which category are you in? Now, the list of those who are saved in the barzakh is made apparent at different points for different people. And the first narration I want you to pay attention to is what the Prophet ﷺ said about our father Adam. He said, ﷺ, that on the night of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, the skies were open for me. And as soon as we arrived to the lowest heaven, I looked up and I saw Adam alayhi salam. And he said, and he is exactly like the day Allah created him. لَمْ يَتَغَيَّرْ مِنْهُ شَيْءٍ. Nothing changed from him. And he said he's sitting in the middle. And a soul passes by him to the right. فَإِذَا كَانَتْ رُوحٌ طَيِّبَةٌ وَرِيحٌ طَيِّبَةٌ. If it's a good smell and a good soul, he laughs. And he says, اجعلوا كتابه في